Okay, how do we launch this baby? How do we get it off the ground? It's pretty simple. Just follow this challenge here. Create a solution for faculty that's so compelling they'll integrate the center's activities into their courses as required work. That's it. Done. uh, yeah, I mean, this is the challenge. What we're trying to do here is create a service in the Math Success Center and the Language Success Center that speaks directly to the challenges in your classroom, and these services are so compelling that you integrate them and require them as coursework. That's what we're trying to do here, all right? Now, let me give you some examples because this is a pretty new idea at Cerritos College. It was a fairly new idea to me, but man, this is one of the genius parts of the schools that have launched successful success centers. Okay, so let me talk you through some examples. Imagine you're an accounting professor or an economics professor. You have, having been the dean over the economics area and have some good friends in the accounting department, I know they show up with basic math deficiencies. They show up, so a lot of the students with some basic math issues that they need to deal with. These are issues that the faculty members in accounting and economics don't always have time to cover because they're covering accounting and economics principles, and they're assuming, or those basic math issues need to be covered. Now, we could partner with you in the economics department, the accounting department, to help develop learning activities in the Math Success Center that will speak to those issues. There's probably 4 or 5 major things that your students need to be successful in those classes. Meet with us. Develop those services in the Math Success Center. Require your students to go, and we can get you through those processes. Automotive, they have very technical books that they have to read. We have a reading service offered in the Language Success Center. Meet with us. Let's develop some activities that will help students develop strategies for reading technical books. In the history and the philosophy departments, they have primary source readings that they do in their classes. Even at the 100 level, they don't just have textbooks. They're having the students in philosophy class, for example, read Plato. They're reading Augustine. They're reading Rousseau. Primary source documents. These are difficult. They need help with figuring out just strategies for reading primary source documents. If that's something that you think students need to be familiar with, let's work on something together in the Language Success Center in the reading area. Chemistry, they have metric conversions. That's a math issue. Machine tool technology, they have technical math. We can develop solutions for them in the math area. Art history, they have a huge research paper in the art history department. We can work on several modules that help students develop the skills they need to do better writing for your classes. All disciplines, excuse me, they need study skills help. They need time management. They need information on how to read a textbook. They need to learn maybe Cornell notes for taking lecture notes. There are all kinds of study skills issues that cut across the entire curriculum. Woodworking has basic geometry. All disciplines need iFalcon training for those soft skills. These are things that we would like to meet with you, the individual faculty members. We would like to meet with you and develop resources in the Math Success Center and the Language Success Center that meet these. What I'd like you to think about, think through the 4 or 5 things that you think your students really need to be successful in their classes. What are those 4 or 5 things, and how do we develop resources together to make sure your students can learn those 4 or 5 things? Excuse me. All right, now there are a couple of hurdles that I've heard coming from faculty. These are things that some faculty say are causing them to wonder whether or not they want to get involved with this, at least immediately. One is several faculty members are worried about the negotiations, the budget. And this is not just faculty. Staff are worried about it. Managers are worried about it. I'm worried about it, stressing everybody out and stressing everybody out at every public institution in the entire United States. Now, these are real issues, and they're very personal issues, and they're scary issues. I know that. But they're different issues than student success. You see, there's 2 great issues at Cerritos College right now. One is related to student success, and one is related to this conversation we're having about how we take our budget down. That's a very hard issue, and we have to, as a community, as faculty, as managers, as staff, we have to make sure that that budget conversation does not suck all the oxygen out of the room. It's got to be a major conversation. It's got to be something we talk about a lot, but it can't be the dominant issue. We've got a whole bunch of students coming here for the fall semester 2011. They're going to show up here at Cerritos College. They're going to be every bit as excited as you were when you were a freshman. I don't. Well, I'm sure you remember showing up to college your freshman year, how excited you were that first day. These guys are going to be every bit as excited, and we owe it to them to have our A game. We need to be prepared for them. We need to be trying to give them the best experience possible. These success centers are part of that experience. So I'm asking you not to conflate these two, not to get them, commingled. We need to have the conversation. It's a serious conversation, a difficult conversation about the budget. We also have to move forward with student success and implementing our best for student success. I'm asking you, please don't get those two mixed up. The other item that a lot of faculty are talking about is, I'm going to wait and see. Before I bring these into my classrooms, I'd like to let a few other people try it out. I'd like to wait maybe to the fall semester to see how that goes. Or excuse me, the spring semester. Wait a year. I'm asking you not to do that. And I'm making this one a personal request. I need you to integrate this into your fall course for 2011. Now, I know you're going to go up to LRC and you can't touch any of this right now. You can't touch the new Student Success Center or Student Success Office. You can't touch the Language Success Center. You can't touch a Math Success Center. You can't sit there and look at it and see. You can't even play around with the technology right now. We're in the middle of that decision-making process. Here's what I'm asking you, though. You watched me as a faculty member for several years. You watched me as the president of the Academic Senate. You watched me as Dean of Humanities Social Sciences, and you're watching me in this position right now. If you think that work was good, I'm asking you to come with me and get this place going. To enter into the fall semester with activities embedded into your syllabus. If you think the work I did was good in those other positions, I want you to assume. I know all the crazy stuff connected to assuming and everything, but I want you to assume that this is going to be equally good in the fall semester, and it is, all right? This is going to be a great service for students. Students will really do better with these services, but we need you to integrate it into your curriculum. The third thing I've heard is I don't have time, and I can personally definitely relate to this. I spent 16 years in the classroom, just teaching. That was all I was doing, teaching 5-7 sections per semester, full summers, every summer. And I always had trouble, and I do mean always had trouble, getting through all my political science content. And I knew students needed help with writing. I knew they needed help with reading. I knew they needed help with study skills and soft skills. I just didn't have time to get through all. I felt compelled as a professional to get through all the political science content. That's all the content I loved, and that's what I was supposed to teach them. I just couldn't fit in this other stuff. I never had time to get to this stuff in class. Now you have time, all right? You have time. Just spend some time with us to develop these activities. We'll put them in the Success Center, and we'll track them for you. We'll make the time for you. All right? You don't have time to teach study skills? We'll make the time to teach study skills. You don't have time to cover that basic math that they need to succeed in your class? We'll make the time in the Math Success Center. You don't have time to cover those writing skills, those reading skills? We'll make the time in those Language Success Centers. We really, really need you to partner with us on this. We've been talking about these student success initiatives for a couple of years now. We've had some really good ones that we've announced at these general faculty meetings, these all-campus meetings. We talked about revising program review at one of the meetings. We talked about revising SLOs. We launched iFalcon, the Student Success Plan. Today we're talking about, in this presentation at least, about these success centers. All of them have required some kind of collaboration between us. mean, this is one of the threads that connects all of them. We've got to collaborate as a community. Now, I know this specific project here is talking about collaborating in the classroom, and that's a little bit of a foreign idea sometimes. I know what it's like to be kind of a individual in the classroom. I spent 16 years, like I said. Most of that as an individual in the classroom, and I know what it's like to have great rewards being an individual. I know what it's like to stay up all night long, grade term papers. I know what it's like to grade papers all weekend long, work on lectures. I know what it's like to think for hours and hours about how you bring something special to a classroom. I know what it's like to get the rewards when that works out, what it's like to get a paper from a student that inspires you, or get a stack of midterms that have some really good grades in them. I know what it's like to sit in a class and deliver a lecture that you really worked on, and then the magic happens and you get some kind of moment in class that's permanent because something happened that everyone's going to remember. But I also know the flip side. The flip side, I know what it's like to be walking up the stairs with a stack of midterms and the grades are just terrible on them. You're walking upstairs and you're thinking about the hours you stole from your wife, preparing for that class, the hours you stole from your 3 daughters on the weekend. And then you're standing in front of your class and you just want to yell, you want to scream, you want to cuss, you want to quit in that moment. I know what that's like too. That feels like lonely. So what I'm saying here today, or right now, is I want you to partner with me and Francie and Carl and Chad, Blair, Manuel. I want you to partner with us and develop something special for students. I know you develop a lot of stuff special in your class already. I'm not saying that you don't. There's a whole slew of issues that they need to address. We can address them in the Student Success Center. If you're interested in doing that, and I hope you are, I'd like you to send an email to Francie Quasberryman, FQUAAS@cerritos.edu. Tell her your name, what department you're in, give her your email address, your phone number, the best way to contact you, what your availability is over the summer, and what topics you'd like to start working on immediately. I'm really looking forward to working with you. All right, if you've missed any other of these videos, you can click on any one of these. And you can review the intro, the context, the plan, the people, the services, or the launch.